friends, my name is Shayla and today I'm here to wrap up the reading month of February for you. I read a crap ton in February. Most of that is due to the Manga Love Readathon that I hosted where I read 50 volumes of manga in 3 days. And yes, that was a lot. So what I'm going to do is throughout this video, any other like wrap-ups where I talked about things that I've read will be linked in the cards or down below for you. And so you can just kind of check those out. If there's something that you know that I read recently that I don't talk about in this video, they will all be located in those other videos. So as I did in the month of January, let's start this video off with some stats for February. In the month of February, I read 17 novels. I consumed 60 volumes of manga total. I consumed 5 audiobooks. And the total pages I read in the month of February was 19,915, which makes a yearly total of pages at 30,290. Breaking down the volumes of manga that I read 28 shoujo, 14 shonen, 6 seinen, and 10 josei. I think because of the readathon, we saw me jump back up to what I would normally be doing in a reading month when it comes to shoujo manga. So let's go ahead and dive right into the things that I've read. So let's quickly talk about the audiobooks that I consumed. So the first one on this list is going to be Grayson's Vow by Mia Sheridan. You're going to see a trend that I read a lot of Mia Sheridan audiobooks in the month of February. In Grayson's Vow, we're dealing with a guy who's down on his luck and a girl who needs to marry to get her inheritance. And so her and Grayson form a pact to have a marriage to get their money, and they end up falling in love along the way. It's really good. I really enjoyed it and would recommend people pick it up and check it out. Next up, we have Ramsey, again by Mia Sheridan. In Ramsey, we have a guy who was really down on his luck growing up. His dad was kind of a deadbeat, and so he was doing all of his work for his dad for this big rich family, and the daughter convinces him to sleep with her, and he gets chased off by the family, essentially. He comes back together with this woman years later to exact revenge, but what's happened is that one time they had sex led to her being pregnant. She ended up miscarrying without him around. She tried to find him. Apparently her brother did, and all sorts of stuff. But anyways, so it's about him Ramsey trying to exact revenge, but he realizes he's still in love with the girl that he was in love with as a teenager. And I really enjoyed this. 4 stars. Not the best thing I've ever read, but still thoroughly enjoyable. And then last for the audiobooks for this video, we've got Leo. And Leo is about a boy in foster care who ends up getting adopted, who leaves this girl Evie behind. And he promises to write her, but he never does. We jump to 8 years later, and this guy named Jake comes and says, I knew Leo, he asked me to check on you. And Leo and Jake enter a romantic relation, not Leo and Jake, Evie and Jake enter a romantic relationship. But Jake has a very obvious secret as to who he really is, and I think you can figure it out from there. But it's well done. Yes, it's the miscommunication trope. In this instance, I did okay with it. I don't always do okay with that, but in this instance, I did. Alrighty, let's jump into the books. So first up, I'm going to talk about the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I read both of these books for a new series on my channel. I will leave that video linked for you because I talk in depth about both of these, but I relatively gave them 4 and 4.5 stars. These are the first 2 books in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which is a paranormal romance in which we're dealing with a race of vampires, and it's really well written. I really enjoyed it, so I definitely highly recommend checking out the series. You will be seeing more Black Dagger Brotherhood on my on my channel in the coming months, but you know, gotta save up to buy the stuffs. Next on the list, we have Starting Over at Blueberry Creek by Annie Rains. This is another book in the Sweetwater Springs series. I really love this series by Annie Rains. I thoroughly enjoy it every time I read it. And we're dealing with a firefighter named Luke and the girl next door named Brenna. Brenna really wants to reach out to Luke and get to know him. She ended up moving home after her parents died, dropping out of college to take care of her younger sister. Her younger sister is now 18. She wants to join the force, and Luke is acting chief as the chief is in the hospital. And so they have run-ins, they have kind of an enemies to lovers thing going. It was really enjoyable to me. I recommend checking out all of the Sweetwater Springs books, but this one in particular was quite nice. Next up, we have Unforgiven by Jay Crownover. In Unforgiven, we are in the Loveless Texas series. So we've got Hill, who is a U.S. Marshal. He has always had feelings for Cody, this woman who's rough around the edges and runs a bar and has to prove that she's something to her brothers who are severely overprotective because of their upbringing. And it's about Hill and Cody finally coming into their feelings for each other and getting to the point where they're not denying their feelings for each other anymore. It's really good, really steamy. Highly enjoy Jake Crownover's writing. And Hill and Cody have a great on-page chemistry. And Hill understands all her family's background, so she doesn't have to explain anything to Hill. He accepts her for who she is, and Cody accepts Hill for his problems and his situations, and it's really well done. Highly recommend. Next up, we have Beautiful Redemption by Jamie McGuire. This is one of the Maddox brothers books. In this, we're following Lise and Thomas. Lise and Thomas work together at the FBI, but when Lise shows up to work for the first day, she doesn't realize that Thomas was the guy that she had a really hot one-night stand with the night before. So she inadvertently slept with her boss, and that obviously causes some problems in the workplace, but they're dealing with outside forces that are bigger, and they end up coming together. They can't deny each other. Thomas tries to bully her over, but Lise isn't having it. She calls him on his behavior. It's really well done. Little short thing. Solid 4 stars. I really liked it. Next up, we have Dragon Watch Master of the Phantom Isle by Brandon Mull. I buddy read this with Connor over at Connor O'Brien. We finally got around to this buddy read. We've both been busy, and we finally got some time, so we did that. Anyways, in this book, we continue on with Kendra and Seth's adventures. This is a very Seth-heavy book, and that was really nice for me. I really enjoy the Seth-heavy books a lot. I can't tell you too much because of spoilers, but you see characters a little bit outside of their element in this book, and I think that did really well. We went to a new preserve that we hadn't been to before, and that made it really adventurous as well, because we got to know some new characters, and it was just a really fun time. I always love my reads of anything in the Fablehaven world. This Dragon Watch series has been quite good. Now that Kendra and Seth are a little bit older, we're dealing with some of those topics in life that are dealing with older people, so it's really well done so far. I'm highly enjoying it, and I recommend checking out the series if you haven't. And thanks again to Connor for reading it with me. I know you're wicked busy, and I just appreciate that you took the time to do that with me. All right, and then the last book for this section is what I'm going to talk about, and then I've got 3 volumes of manga I'm going to mention real quick. So we have Kingdom of Souls by Brenna Barron. This was one of my buddy reads with Lindsay this month, and in this book we're dealing with a teenage girl who wants to access her magic so desperately. There are reasons why she isn't able to access her magic, and she gets to a point where she considers committing a taboo to access the magic that she has. And this is very politically charged. This is fast-paced. This is book 1 in a series, and it's so well done. It was just really well done. It's hard for me to talk about this without like spoilers because it's so intense and so much happens. So I just recommend picking this one up. I'm only going to read the back of this just to give you another little brief glimpse at what we're talking about. I only laughed at stories about demons. Now I know what that one may walk in my shadows. So if that doesn't hook you, then I just love this. Everybody please go check this out. It's fantastic. I love it. All right, on to the 3 volumes of manga that I've got here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a gift from my friends over at Viz. Thank you, Viz, for being so kind to me. They sent me an early copy of Blue Flag by Kaito. That story and art, I forget who translates this. I was going to look before I held it up, but I forgot. So this is translated by Adrian Beck. And in this story, it's basically we're following 4 teenagers. We've got multiple of these teenagers who end up having feelings for each other, but we primarily follow Taichi. And Taichi gets approached by Futaba because Futaba has feelings for Toma, this guy here. And so she wants Taichi, who's the only person that Toma goes out of his way to talk to help Toma notice her because she's got a crush on Toma. But obviously there are other feelings involved in all of this, and it's so well done. The art is absolutely stunning. I'll just show you this page here, as that's not really spoilery, but it's so good. Like, this is a new series coming out. This doesn't come out till April, but definitely put it on your to-read list. This is a really well-done series where we're dealing with lots of teenagers and their emotions. This new shonen is definitely... I plan to get more in-depth talking about it in another video, and I'll be talking about another one of the videos, one of the manga in my stack in that video as well. But know that Blue Flag should be on your radar, and it's really good, and I'll give you more details in the other video. Next on the list, we have Sweat and Soap Volume 1. Sweat and Soap is about an office woman who sweats a lot, and she's very self-conscious of her body odor. So the people that she works for is called Lily Drop, and it's a like fragrance body wash kind of company, kind of like a Bath and Body Works is what I would think. And one day she's really happy looking at a certain display, and this guy from the scent department walks by, catches a whiff of her natural pheromones and stuff, and he comes up and he's like, I smell something. And so she immediately gets self-conscious. And he's like, it's you. I smell you. You smell really good. Can I come and smell you every day for a week? Because I'm working on the new scent line and I have some ideas and I feel more inspired after smelling you. So can I come and smell you? And so that's kind of how they enter a friendship that ends up blossoming into a really sweet relationship. This is a 5-star manga for me, guys. It's so good. And the art is really fun. Let's see. And it's very steamy and very sexy, and it's just really, really good. I highly recommend checking out this series. I can't remember the guy's name. Anyways, I really like their relationship together. It's really well done, and it's steamy, and it's so good, and I could fangirl about this forever. But again, in that same video, I'm going to talk more about Blue Flag. I'm going to talk more in depth about this, so that will be coming soon. And then last but not least on this wrap up for you guys is Ancient Magus Bride Volume 12. In this volume, we're 12 volumes into a series, so I'm not going to get in too in-depth, but I am going to tell you it takes time to discuss labels on the relationships that you have with people, and that whole conversation is so well done. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation that was being had, and I highly recommend people check out this series. Don't write it off. I know it's a little on the weird side, but it's definitely got fae elements to it, and it's so good. It's seriously so good. And with each volume, I love the series more and more and more. So definitely check it out. Okay, friends. So with that, I have now given you my in-depth thoughts about everything that I've read in the month of February. And it was crazy. And I promise March won't be nearly as crazy because I'm not going to be reading 50 volumes of manga or anything like that. But yes, I highly recommend that you check out those other videos so you can get my thoughts on everything that I've read. And as always, my Goodreads is linked down below, and I have reviews for everything in that as well. Oh, I forgot to mention, I read Fire in His Fingertips. That will be mentioned in the other video as well, but Fire in His Fingertips is good, guys. So yes, we'll be talking about that in the other video as well, so look forward to that coming your way soon. But yes, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know what your favorite read in the month of February was down in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.